NASA is working on an ambitious three-phase plan to establish a permanent human presence on the moon. And while the first phase might seem like the least exciting part, it could actually be the most important. Right now, NASA is focused on preparing the technology, equipment, and knowledge needed to make long-term lunar operations possible. Phase 1 is scheduled to run through 2029 and is essentially the testing and learning stage. NASA and its commercial partners will send robotic missions to the lunar surface, especially around the moon's south pole, to study the environment, test new technologies, and figure out how humans can safely operate there for long periods. Phase 2 is expected to run from 2029 to 2032. That's when the focus will shift toward building the infrastructure needed for extended missions. Power systems, communications networks, habitats, and other essential equipment will begin taking shape. Then comes Phase 3, starting around 2032. This is where NASA envisions a much more permanent human presence on the moon, potentially creating the foundation for humanity's expansion deeper into the solar system. Getting those later phases right depends heavily on what happens during Phase 1. NASA is working with several private companies, including Blue Origin, Firefly Aerospace, Intuitive Machines, and Voyager Technologies, with roughly 20 lunar missions planned through 2028. One of the major missions comes from Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos' space company. Its Blue Moon Mk1 lander, called Endurance, is designed to demonstrate a new generation of commercial lunar landers capable of carrying large and important payloads to the moon. Endurance has already completed its environmental testing campaign, while its structure, propulsion systems, and avionics are assembled. The team is now working on payload connections and preparing for the loading of cryogenic propellants. The mission is currently targeted for early 2027, although its timing depends partly on the return of Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket to be operational service. Firefly Aerospace is also preparing for another major lunar mission called Blue Ghost Mission 2. Firefly previously became the first commercial company to successfully soft land on the moon, and this time the company is aiming even higher. The new Blue Ghost lander is larger and is designed to operate on the far side of the moon, the side that never faces Earth. That would make it the first American landing attempt on that mysterious region. Supporting the mission is the Elytra spacecraft, which will be making its first flight and is designed to deploy payloads both in lunar orbit and on the surface. Then there's Intuitive Machines, which is preparing its IM-3 mission. The company has already attempted 2 lunar missions, but neither was completely successful. IM-3 will provide another opportunity to demonstrate how commercial landers can become an important part of future lunar infrastructure. The mission will carry a Nova-C lander called Trinity along with Altus 1, the company's first lunar data relay satellite. Together, they could help NASA move closer to having reliable communications and data networks around the moon. IM-3 is currently expected to launch by the end of the year aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9. Another important mission is Voyager Technologies' Griffin 1 lander. It's being tested at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California and is designed to deliver what could be the largest commercial payload ever placed on the lunar surface. Griffin 1 has recently completed mass properties testing, and the next step is to put the spacecraft through simulations covering everything from launch all the way to lunar landing. The mission is currently scheduled to launch later in 2026 on a SpaceX Falcon Heavy. These are just the first few missions in what is shaping up to be a massive campaign of robotic exploration. Each landing is expected to provide NASA with valuable information, test equipment, and help build the technologies that future astronauts will depend on. The moon base may still sound like something from science fiction, but NASA is steadily working through the groundwork needed to make it a reality. The missions happening over the next few years could ultimately determine how successfully humans establish a lasting foothold on another world.